Good morning, everybody. Joe Chacho here. Happy Thursday morning to everybody. Just want to go over just a couple things before we talk about the topic today of 4 ways to keep your business simple and increase your production. I've got some notes over here. I've got Chris Veal going to be on the call from Sagicor Monday talking about their No Lapse UL and their term product, which have non-med. The No Lapse UL is up to $400,000, and the No Lapse, the term is up to $1 million, depending on the age. Then it drops to $750,000, then it drops to $500,000. So be on the call. There's a lot of important stuff on there. It's another bullet you can put in your gun when you're there. Number 2, got a lot of agents that are starting to do Medicare subs, Medicare Advantage, Get with Heather. We've got a turning 65 list that you can buy to go out and make some additional sales on top of what you're doing. We've got Facebook leads. Leads are $350. You get 16 minimum. If more come in at the present moment, you're getting them at no charge. They're going to come up with some type of cost per lead once they actually get more involved in it and see what the actual return is to keep your actual persistency better. I've got a new client eligibility questionnaire form that's on the back office for you guys. So in case you were the client and you're unsure where to place them at, and this may be a big term case that you really don't know much about term or a No Lapse UL, you can fill this form out, send it to me or send it to your manager. And lastly, Jay's been telling me that a lot of the agents who are writing applications that require a paper app, you need to use a black pen. For whatever reason, by the time you scan it, send it, fax it, they get it, they print it, they do what they got to do to it, is fading. So kind of get a black pen. I don't like the real thin, fine points. If you can use maybe a little bit of a thicker medium point, I think you have a better ways of expediting your application going through. So those are just some couple things for you guys to think about. Okay, let's kind of talk about what you can do to make more money. And what ends up happening is that you're seeing enough people, you think. You're making enough presentations, you think. You feel you're closing enough, yet you're not making enough money. So what you need to do, you need to take a step back. And what happens with me is that when I'm out there knocking and rocking, when I was out in the force every single day, knocking on doors, talking with people, calling people up, what ends up happening, you tend to kind of start making shortcuts, you deviate. So I want you to kind of think about, if you're brand new, let's try to keep yourself on a straight line to where you kind of veer just a little bit to the left and right. I don't want you guys veering too far to the left or swaying too far to the right, because what ends up happening, it throws you out of track. It throws your presentation, it throws everything you do totally crazy. So let's just go back to, let's kind of keep it simple, okay? Go back to basics. Let's maximize your day and your production you do per the day. Smile more, listen more, slow down, take notes when the people are speaking with you, practice and ask more open-ended questions. Because when you ask more open-ended questions, what you're doing, you're giving the client an opportunity to speak with you. They're going to tell you what they need, what they want, and from there you capitalize on what they're saying to bring it a full circle to where you can put them with an application with one of your carriers. Keeping it simple means also understanding the carriers. Where do you place a carrier? Where do you put a client at with a certain carrier? What prescriptions are needed? What prescriptions are not needed? Don't quote a price before you know about their health. Don't quote a price until you ask them about their actual prescriptions. Because what's happening lately, we have a lot of eager agents that are doing great jobs, but what they're doing, they're putting the cart before the horse. How's your health? Fine. You take any medication? Yeah, I take a blood pressure, and I take a pill for like my diabetes, and that's all. You need to kind of take a step back and ask the client, is there any other medication you're taking? Because if you take it for face value, as you should, yet I'm going to ask you not to, kind of do a little bit more digging, what agents are doing, they're saying, okay, no problem, I'll put you with this carrier here. This will be your premium for this face. Then you get them on the phone and they're declined, and the client says, oh, I forgot to tell you about that medication. Oh, I'm not taking that medication no more. So make sure you ask them the last medications you've been taking the last 3 years. Do you take them? Do you not take them? If it's part of your daily routine, find out all this stuff here so you can keep track and you know where to put them at. Keeping it simple means don't focus on the cash value they got in their account if they already have a policy, their paid-up additions. Don't even worry about that stuff right now. I've got agents right now that want to talk about the cash value in their accounts, how they can turn it, how they do the paid-up additions. You got to first see if the person qualifies. When the person qualifies for a program, then you can take a step back and see about doing the cash value, explain to them how the cash value works, which we'll talk about all that on a different call. So think about the client, placing them with an actual carrier, writing the application, and making a sale. At that point, then you can maybe think about the cash value, either to write another policy or go back and maybe add to the one you have. But that takes practice and it takes a little bit of finesse because it's overwhelming. You're going to switch this. I'm going to give you this. You're only going to pay this. You're going to go from $7,000 to $15,000. Sometimes we overwhelm clients, so slow down and keep it simple. Number 2. As I said, you feel you're closing well, but you're not making enough money. You know how to close. Joe, I get in front of them. People buy from me. They like me. Well, when you're not making enough money, it means you're not seeing enough people. How do you see more people? Either you buy more leads, you buy a data list, a walking list, you get Facebook leads, you get phone leads, you go through your old client base, you start asking for more referrals, you start handing out more cards, you start canvassing neighborhoods. When you go to a lead, you talk to the people to the left and right of the house, the 3 people across the street. You want to do things to stimulate activity. The only way for us to make more money, since we are commission-based, is that you have to see more people to where you can talk to them. The best way to get in front of more people is ask for referrals. The person you've already spoke to, they may have wrote a policy. You may have wrote a policy for them. They may not have wanted anything, but yet you may ask them, is there anybody you would like me to share this free information with? This is part of my job. I'm the area manager. It's something I enjoy doing. I like helping people. I think it's a very good thing for you guys to get in the habit with, because if you get 20 leads a week, let's say 3 people are out of town, 2 people can't see you, 1 person's got this, 1 person's got that. The people aren't home, they're working different shifts. You got one-leggers. So what happens is that you're buying leads, you're able to make some presentations, you are closing, but what happens is you're not getting in front of people. So the most important thing for us is to get in front of people to where we can generate some interest, to where people want to hear us, and hopefully we can find a need, supply them the value, and they want to buy something from you. Now, what ends up happening is that when you're having a bad day and you're not seeing enough people, you get frustrated and you go home. Or you decide you want to go to Home Depot and buy a new bucket for the backyard. You've got to sit and think about that you're working for yourself. If you went to work for a regular job, working from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever your hours are, you just can't leave when you want because you're having a bad day. You got to suck it up. You got to put your big boy panties on. You got to put your big girl panties on, and you got to just do what you got to do to stay out there to make money. Our job, you got your highs, you got your lows, and the best part is when you're cranking it up. You make a sale, you make a sale, you make a sale. You're the king of the mountain. But yet when you start coming down, if people aren't answering the door, people aren't answering their phone, you can't make a sale, you can't make a presentation, you can't close nothing, what happens is it starts affecting your mind. So what you need to do, you just need to take a step back and say it's part of the game. I need to get in front of more people. I need to quit overthinking what I'm doing. I need to focus on a presentation. I need to focus on just smiling with people. Because what ends up happening, our minds start going 87 different directions. You're thinking about the cash value, the paid-up additions, how many beneficiaries they're going to put. Keep yourself on track to see what you can do to show them that there's a value, there's a need. You're a professional. This is something you enjoy doing. You're here to help them today. When that day comes and they pass away, you're here to help them. When you make people feel comfortable and you give them that warm, fuzzy feeling that you're going to be there for them when that day comes, believe it or not, you're going to go from home plate all the way to second plate without even thinking, because they say, this guy's being sincere. This young lady really cares. Think about that. Now, number 3, and I've said this, I can't tell you how many times I've said this here. Number 3, record yourself. Okay? I listen to the recordings I do with you guys. Today I probably messed up on a couple words, probably 2 or 3 words. Okay? And what I do, I slow down. I start to think. I get excited. We all have a little ADD in us. If you drink a little bit of coffee, you get wound up. If you have some OCD issues, what happens, you get yourself wound up and you're kind of wrapped up kind of tight. So what you need to do, you need to just relax. By recording yourself, either you keep it in your top pocket or put it in a table or chair in front of you when you're speaking with a client. You do it at the front door. You do it throughout your presentation. And what you're going to do is that after you get home that evening, you're going to pull out the recordings and you're going to take out a pen and paper and you're going to grade yourself as if you are a teacher listening to a pupil make an oral essay in front of the class. You're going to listen for the front door approach. Did I say the correct things? Was I smooth? Did I interrupt the lady? What did I do to get in? Because you're going to see what you did well, you're going to see what you need help on, and you're going to see where you really just totally messed up. But what ends up happening is that if you don't listen to what you're doing and hear what you're doing, you have no idea how to correct what you're doing wrong or how to add what you're not adding enough of. Now, these are the things I want you guys to listen for when you're actually listening to yourself, okay? Get your phone, put it upside down, hit record. There's a bunch of different apps you can put on your phone, and I promise you, you're going to see things that you thought that you were Slick Willie, you thought you were the best salesperson out there, and you're going to sit and say, man almighty, Joe, I need help. You got to hear how you sound. How are you coming across to the client? Is your delivery a positive one? Are you hesitating? Are you clearing your throat? Are you making these noises we make because you're unsure where you want to go? Are you making proper transitions when you're going from the sit down, the warm up, into the presentation, into showing them the different ideas, into the close, into the cool down? Are you making proper transitions to where it's smooth, to where it's not like a hiccup in the road where you start all over again in your mind, you're going smooth? Do you have good voice inflection? Are you emphasizing certain words that you want to get across? To me, the most powerful thing is when you're sitting next to a client, or a client is sitting in front of you or next to you, and their hand is on the table, and there is a word or a phrase you want to get across. I'll give you one example. Miss Jones, in the event you were to pass away, who would be in charge of taking care of everything? And you tap them on the hand. You tap them on the shoulder. That's kind of like a double whammy. You're bringing in some passion. You're asking them a very serious question. You're tapping them to get their attention. And now, when you're listening to this here, when you do that statement, are you allowing them to speak? Are you allowing them to think of an answer to tell you, or did you change that into a multiple question test where it was not? When you ask a question like that, take a step back, sit down, relax, wait for an answer. If a client doesn't give you an answer quickly, what it means is that they're thinking. Are you interrupting the client when they're speaking? All this stuff you got to write down. You may not be interrupting, but you may not be giving them enough time to sit and speak. And what we're doing now, there's probably about 10 items here we're going to continue going over, and you're going to grade yourself on each one. Are you pausing so the prospect can think? Are you interrupting them because you're so excited because you're afraid you're going to forget something? Write it down. Are you asking enough open-ended questions so the client and you can have a conversation and you're just not talking? Are you staying on track? Are you staying on a proper track to where you're talking about what they need, what they want, how the program works, if something happens, what's going to take place, the purpose of you being there? All of these things you must keep on track, because when you start bouncing back and forth, what ends up happening, you confuse the client because their brain is going this direction. All of a sudden, your ADD kicks in and you're going this way here. That's why I like a flip book. Some agents say, Joe, I don't need a flip book. I got my own ways. That's fine. Everybody has their own style. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like to have a flip book because it keeps me on track. I know where I need my help at. And the only way for you guys to do better in whatever you do, no matter if it's being a parent, a grandparent, a sister, brother, salesperson, you got to know what you're doing right, and you got to know what you're doing not so good, and you have to address it and say, I am not doing this correct. What can I do to do it better? Back to basics. Are you deviating from the program? Okay, making shortcuts. So think about this here. When you actually record yourself, you're going to look for, how do you sound, voice inflections, are you having delivery, are you having a proper transition, are you pausing to let the client think a little bit? When you ask a question, are you letting them answer, or are you getting excited and changing to a multiple question test? Are you staying on track? Are you making shortcuts? Because in the day when I was out riding with agents, and even myself, what happens is that you make 2 sales in the morning, now it's afternoon time, you think you're King Kong, and you tend to forget the steps you made to make those 2 sales, because now you're on a high horse, you made 2 sales, and you forget to tell the client a couple things. And sometimes those things that you forget to tell them could be the important parts that help you make the sale. Have a sheet in front of you. Make a cheat sheet, put it in front of you of what you should be doing, what questions you should be asking. It's no big deal. What's the client going to do? Saying, are you using a cheat sheet? Because once you start doing this here, excuse me, what you're going to do is that eventually you're going to make the cheat sheet from 2 pages to 1 page. Within that 1 page, you've got little subtitles under everything. From there, when you start getting better, you're going to have 1 paper with no subtitles. Then you're going to go to a half page. So you're going to walk in with a piece of paper this size here, and once you see that word, you're going to know what to do and where to go. Okay? Number 4, understand you work for yourself. You're not working for somebody else. You're working for yourself. You've got to treat everything you do as you are an entrepreneur. You're getting a 1099 at the end of the year. Your paycheck is based on your production and based on the things that we talked about today, the things you know, where to place a client at. You don't take a day off because you want to take a day off. You go to work every day. Because what ends up happening, an agent will come out Monday, come out of the box, they'll make 3 sales, they make 4 sales on Monday. They'll do $2,500 annualized production. And now on Tuesday, well, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to go golfing and all that stuff there. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Yet, out of those 4 cases you wrote that you did 2 paper applications on, one of those may get declined because you didn't ask the client about their prescriptions. Number 2, a point of sale you did that the client was approved could call you back Wednesday or Thursday with buyer's remorse. So you're out playing golf, and 2 cases just fell off. Successful agents who want to do better in the marketplace go to work on a regular basis, buy leads, get in front of people, understand the values of a referral, understanding the value of working final expense, knowing term, knowing IULs, doing Medicare Advantage. Because to me, I believe in different streams of income. When you work for yourself, what you're going to do is that you're going to lean on me and your manager to help you with certain programs. Joe, how does a term product work? What's in between a 20-year term and a 30-year term? Joe, what's in between a whole life and a universal life? What's in between a UL and an IUL? These are things we can go over. These are things we can help and assist you, but yet you've got to digest these things so when you're in a home with a client, you come across as a professional, so when they're listening to you, you're coming across as somebody who knows what they're speaking about. Everything you do from the hello to the goodbye is that you get one opportunity to make a first impression. Number two, every time a word comes out of your mouth, you must understand that it's a piece to a puzzle that you're going to complete at the end. Number three, eye contact, voice inflections, the way you listen, the way you sit, all of this stuff has to do with working for yourself. You're working for yourself, yet you're not working by yourself. When you're having a bad day, call me. You're having a terrible day, call me. You're having a great day, call me. Believe it or not, it's kind of good to let out some good steam. It's good to let off some anger you have, because believe it or not, by blowing that anger off and just telling me this, and this, I'm going to listen to you. Your manager is going to listen to you. And what we're going to say is, well, you need to get an attitude adjustment. Number two, you're not going to make a sale of every house you go into. I understand you got a car payment, but yet the way you're coming across with commission breath is not working. All of these things here can help you do better in the field. When you speak a little slower, you save a little bit more money for a rainy day. What's going to end up happening, your confidence level is going to go up because you're not trying to make a sale. You're just there giving information to where the people want to buy. We're going to keep it simple. Now more, we're going to listen more. To make more money, we got to have more activity, either by working referrals, buying more leads, knocking on the house next door, buying a data list, canvassing the streets, walking down the streets, making some more phone calls, making some more door knocks. Record yourself, to me, is probably one of the most important things, because you can have the best product, the least expensive premiums, yet if your delivery and the way you come across to the client is not in a proper way, it's not going to work. And number four, remember, you work for yourself, yet you don't work by yourself. You need to go to work on a regular basis, work a couple day shifts, a couple afternoon shifts, a couple night shifts, maybe work a couple Saturdays per month, because people are changing. People's schedules are changing. People are working more than when I first started. There's more one-leggers today because people are talking. People are working. So with that said, guys, that's it for today. Does anybody have any questions, anything they'd like to add or say, Joe, let me kind of sit and tell you some of the things I do when I go to a house. Joe, let me kind of tell you how I keep things in track. Let me tell you about the list I make. If anybody wants to say something, add something, complain about something, do a *2 and Jay will open you up. Okay, I'm looking at the computer screen. We got 43 people on the call. Oh, I got a hand up. Who is it, Jay? Tom Wilson, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Joe. Thank you for all the input. You hit something right on the home for me, and I find myself all the time having to correct myself, and that slow me down. Listen more. You know, I always look back sometimes. My wife even reminds me. She said, Tom, we have one mouth and we have two ears. Which you think is more important? Well, and I work on that, but it's something I do, and you'll find you'll build a great rapport with those people because they want to talk. So listen to them. They'll tell you everything you need to know. You just got to listen. And I appreciate you putting that in there this morning because it's something that sort of hits home with me. So thank you for all the input. I appreciate you, buddy, very much. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, thanks for the kind words, and let's go make some money. Okay, anybody else want to say anything? If you do, okay, brother, do me a *2, open you up. Oh, also, an agent called yesterday and wanted some information on E&O. If you guys don't have E&O, or you want Gerber, you want AIG, you want Life Shield, you want carriers that have the E&O, get with Jay. He'll send you to a couple websites. You pick out the one you want. Either you pay for it up front or a down payment with monthly payments. They got a couple different options. And E&O is something I think is very good, something you should have in case something happens. Somebody might misunderstand what you say. And number two, A lot of agents are using the standalone Gerber accidental plan on top of a final expense program. They're doing a 10, 12, 15,000 final expense, and they're throwing on a $50,000 Gerber accidental plan. So it kind of blends together. Agents are liking it, yet you need E&O. Okay, yes, Jay? Okay. We had a guy that raised his hand. If you want to talk, Jory, raise your hand again. If not, you might have just pushed it by accident. If you do a *2, we'll open you up. Okay. Jory, you're on the air, brother. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, Joe?
Very good, thank you.
I just started with you guys, man, and I don't really have a question about as far as presentations go and stuff like that. But I do need work. I am the guy who talked about the E&O and whatnot. But I wanted to more ask you about things like, I mean, real basic stuff, to be honest with you, man. Like, there's debates between term and whole life and things like that, and really what's the best route to go. And I've been watching things like Dave Ramsey and stuff. I kind of wanted to hear you, like, talk about stuff like that.
Okay, what I can do is I can set up a call, maybe in fact like the call next Thursday or Friday. What I'll do, I'll talk about the different term and whole life and ULs, and then from there we'll dedicate a full half hour to that there. And then if there's anything I left out or something. Say that again?
Yeah, kind of just your perspective and whatnot on how you feel about what's really best for certain situations and stuff. I'd really like to hear you talk about that.
That'd be fine. Matter of fact, count on that. Jay's making a note right now. Next Thursday's call will be term, whole life, UL comparisons, the ups and the downs, and the left and rights of it. So thanks for mentioning that there, and we'll talk about it next week. Okay, brother. Thanks.
Okay,
welcome aboard, and continue working hard with Big Mike.
All right, yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, my friend. Thank you. Okay, guys. Nobody else wants to chit-chat? Okay, make it a great day. Jay, what are we speaking about tomorrow? Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm going to talk tomorrow about proper steps to place in a policy, kind of a little bit to do with underwriting. Oh, I'm sorry, replacing policies. I'm sorry, I'm over here. My ADD kicked in, so I'm at fault there. So proper ways of replacing the policy. So with that said, I appreciate everybody, hard work. Call us if you need us. Get with your manager. Get with me. Let's go make some sales together. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.